All right, ready to whip up something special today. We're diving into the world of pastry, but not just any pastry. We're talking about the journey to becoming a head pastry chef.
And let me tell you, it's a lot more than just sprinkles and frosting.
You got that right. It's a fascinating blend of artistry, yeah, but also serious management skills.
Yeah.
So we're going to break it all down, those career stages, what it really takes to make it, even give you a peek behind the scenes of a real pastry kitchen.
Think of it like getting a backstage pass to this world, seeing what it takes to rise to the top, like a perfectly proofed loaf of bread.
I love that analogy. Okay, picture this. You step into a bakery, but it's not that cute little shop on the corner. This is a high stakes, high pressure, the real deal. What hits you first? The smell, oh man, vanilla, caramelized sugar, maybe a little citrus zest in the air.
It's intoxicating. But I got to be honest here. Behind those incredible aromas, you got long hours, intense heat, and this constant push to make every dessert absolutely perfect.
No sugarcoating it, huh? But, and this is key, our sources say those who thrive in that environment, they wouldn't trade it. The rewards, both literally and figuratively, are pretty sweet.
Speaking of rewards, let's talk career path. You don't just become head pastry chef overnight. It's a climb, a journey, proving yourself every step of the way.
Like any good recipe, it starts with the basics. Our sources say most aspiring chefs, they start entry level. Assistant pastry chef, right? You're learning the techniques, like how to make that ganache perfectly smooth, the piping, all that good stuff.
You're basically a sponge,
Yeah.
soaking up everything you can from those experienced chefs, getting your hands dirty, building that foundation.
And I bet those early mornings, late nights, that builds some serious camaraderie in the kitchen, am I right?
100%. There's this bond that forms when you're all working under pressure, side by side, trying to nail it every single time, whether it's croissants or a wedding cake.
Makes sense. So you prove yourself, then what? You move up, junior pastry chef, more responsibility, maybe even supervising others who are newer.
This is where things get really exciting. It's not just following recipes anymore. It's about understanding why those techniques work.
The science behind the sweets, I like it.
Exactly. You're getting deeper into flavor profiles, how ingredients work together. You even start bringing your own ideas to the table.
Now we're talking. Okay, so all that experience it leads to senior pastry chef. Now you're overseeing whole sections of the production, managing a team. The pressure's definitely on.
But the rewards, they level up too.
hmm
At this point, you're not just making desserts, you're shaping the vision of the entire pastry department.
That's amazing. So you've mastered the techniques. You're a leader. Your team respects you. You're the head pastry chef, the maestro of the mixing bowls, if you will.
It's a demanding job, no question.
Yeah.
Menus, inventory, budgets, making sure everything is top-notch quality,
Yeah.
beautifully presented. It's a lot.
And here's where it gets interesting, right? Because our sources are clear, it's not just about being an amazing baker anymore. There are other skills, stuff outside the kitchen, that suddenly matter a lot.
Oh yeah, and that can take some aspiring chefs by surprise. It's a whole other side to the job.
It's that thing, isn't it? You got to handle the heat. Yeah, but also all the other stuff that comes with running things. It's not just the oven, it's like the whole operation, right?
Exactly. Our sources were really big on this. Creativity's not enough. You got to have that business sense too. Budgets, ordering, even dealing with a customer who's unhappy.
Yeah.
It's all part of the package.
So it's baking plus a crash course in management, all while covered in flour. Makes sense why our sources were like managing budgets, working with other departments. Those aren't in the recipe book.
Nope, not at all. Think about it. You're creating a new dessert menu for a restaurant, right? It's not just, oh, this will taste good. It's the cost of ingredients, what's in season.
Hmm.
Even if people have allergies nowadays, you got to factor all that in.
hmm
And then you're coordinating with the kitchen staff, making sure it all flows smoothly when it's service time.
Wow, okay, so way more than just knowing how to bake. So someone listening who's like, all right, I want to do this. Where do they even start with all that stuff?
Experience, hands down.
Yeah.
Internships, apprenticeships.
That's where you learn by doing. See how a real pastry kitchen works, pressure and all.
Right, the real deal. And sources mentioned, like, never stop learning. Even if you're already good, there's always something new, right?
Oh, always. The pastry world, it never sits still. New ingredients pop up, techniques evolve, people's tastes change. A good head pastry chef, they're like lifelong students of this stuff, always curious, pushing those boundaries. What can you really do with flour, sugar, that creative spark?
Love that. And speaking of showcasing skills, portfolios.
Yeah.
Our sources were clear. You got to have a good one.
It's like your edible resume. It's visual, right?
Yeah.
Shows your talent, your style, how passionate you are about pastry.
Okay, but tons of people have photos of cakes and stuff. What makes one portfolio stand out? Photos has got to be top-notch, obviously. But it's more than just pretty pictures. It should tell your story. Maybe there's a dessert, and you explain what inspired it, or you show a bunch of different techniques so people see how much you know.
I see. It's like showing your range, not just, I made a cake. And networking, that's going to be big in this world too, right? Meeting people, learning that way, maybe finding a mentor even.
Huge, especially in the food world. Everyone knows everyone. Going to those industry events, food festivals, heck, just chatting up the pastry chef at a bakery you like. Those connections matter.
Building your own little pastry network, sharing tips and tricks, maybe even a secret recipe or two. And hey, speaking of resources, there's one our sources mention. I think it could be a game changer for people serious about this career.
You're talking RoleCatcher. I was
Yeah.
curious about that.
Yeah, that's the one. Honestly, at first I thought another job board. Okay, but this is different. It's like having a career coach right there on your phone, every step of the way.
Interesting. For pastry chefs who are already juggling a million things, that could be huge. What's so special about it?
So they have this browser extension, RoleCatcher.capture. And let me tell you, ever spent like an hour on job sites and you keep seeing the same listings over and over?
The worst. Such a time suck and kind of demoralizing, you know?
The worst. This solves that. It pulls postings from all over, so you see everything in one place, no more duplicates, no more endless scrolling.
Smart. And I heard they have something that analyzes your resume, tells you how well it matches the job you want. True?
Yep. Scored CV resume. Now, for a pastry chef, this is big.
I can see that. A regular resume, it doesn't always scream pastry expert, you know?
Exactly. This uses, get this, AI to find those keywords, the phrases employers want to see. It's like you're tailoring your resume perfectly for each job, so much better chance of getting noticed.
It's like having a secret weapon to get your application to the top of the pile.
Right. And then, okay, remember how we talked about interviews being nerve-wracking? They have AI for that, too.
Wait, seriously? Like practice interviews and stuff?
You got it. It's like a test run, but in private, so you can work out any kinks, get those answers perfect.
That's amazing. I wish I'd had that when I was starting out.
Right. You practice what you're going to say, even get feedback on your body language.
Yeah.
Walk into that interview feeling way more confident.
Okay, that's impressive. It really is like having a secret weapon.
Totally. So, thinking about dream jobs and all, our sources mention head pastry chefs. They can work in some really cool places.
Oh yeah, it's not all fancy restaurants and hotel kitchens, though those are great.
Right. Could be a cute little bakery, a bustling cafe,
Yeah.
even a cruise ship.
Now that's a gig and a half. Making incredible desserts with an ocean view. Sign me up.
Right. Talk about a sweet commute. It just goes to show this career path, it can take you places, both literally and creatively,
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground here, haven't we? The ins and outs of the pastry kitchen, the skills you need beyond just baking.
Yeah, the career path, that constant learning, even resources like RoleCatcher to give you an edge. It's a lot to take in.
It is, but for the right person, someone who's really driven, loves this world, it's worth it.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think we've just about whipped up a pretty great overview of the head pastry chef life. Hopefully everyone listening found it helpful, maybe even inspiring.
Definitely inspiring. It's a challenging field, but the rewards are huge. You're not just making desserts, you're making people happy.
And who doesn't love that? All right, folks, that's a wrap on this deep dive. Remember, whatever your dream is, it's out there. Go for it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Get out there and bake the world a better place.
It really is. Okay, so thinking about those dream jobs, our sources mentioned that head pastry chefs can work in some pretty cool places.
Oh yeah, it's not all fancy restaurants and hotel kitchens, though those are great.
Right. It could be a cute little bakery, a bustling cafe, even a cruise ship.
No, that's a gig and a half.
Yeah.
Making incredible desserts with an ocean view. Sign me up.
Right. Talk about a sweet commute. It just goes to show this career path that can take you places, both literally and creatively.
Absolutely. So we've covered a lot of ground here, haven't we? The ins and outs of the pastry kitchen, the skills you need beyond just baking.
Yeah, the career path, that constant learning, even resources like RoleCatcher to give you an edge. It's a lot to take in.
It is, but for the right person, someone who's really driven, loves this world, it's worth it.
Absolutely. And on that note, I think we've just about whipped up a pretty great overview of the head pastry chef life. Hopefully everyone listening found it helpful, maybe even inspiring.
Definitely inspiring. It's a challenging field, but the rewards are huge. You're not just making desserts, you're making people happy.
And who doesn't love that? All right, folks, that's a wrap on this deep dive. Remember, whatever your dream is, it's out there. Go for it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Get out there and bake the world a better place.